What up, what up, Crypto Warriors, it's Sergeant Crypto back at it again. Today is Sunday, February 2nd, 2020. Today we're going to go over the halving using a chart on Bitcoin, the Bitcoin halving chart that I found online. Bitcoin going to $8 trillion, the whole market cap of Bitcoin alone, not cryptocurrency, just the Bitcoin market cap. And Peter Brandt calling for 100K Bitcoin. But first, let's take a look at that debt clock. As you can see, we are at $23.234 trillion in debt and counting. But that's not even the worst part. We have China. China is going to inject $174 billion in liquidity on Monday as markets reopen, Shanghai Reuters says. China's central bank said it will inject 1.2 trillion yuan, or $174 billion worth of liquidity into the markets via reverse repo. We've heard that term before. Repo operations on Monday as its stock markets prepare to reopen amid an outbreak of a new coronavirus. So we have the U.S. national debt that's growing, all right, because of the Fed and the continuous of printing money, and China is doing the same thing, printing more money to pump liquidity into their markets. And it's just a race to the bottom, people. You need to get out of the system. It's just a race to the bottom to see who can devalue their currency the fastest. You know, is it the US, China? Is it going to be the Japanese yen or the Great British Pound or the euro? We don't know. But it's a race to the bottom with the continuous money printing and the pumping of the stock markets. All right, because we all know that it's all fake. All these stock prices just keep getting higher and higher because of stock buybacks, because these companies and these executives have an in when it comes to the printing of money. All right, so I won't get too deep down that rabbit hole, but remember to keep that in mind. All right, and this is why Bitcoin exists. They continue to print more money, more money, more money, more money. But let's talk about the Bitcoin halving coming up. That's a big thing. All right, so I got this chart here from this website here, masterthebitcoin.com, and here it is. It breaks it down. The previous two halving, and this is the one coming up in May timeframe. Around then, you know, they even said last week sometime that the halving may have been pushed up to either early May or late April. So it's coming within 100 days or so. But as we can see with Bitcoin, and as far as the halving is concerned, we always see a big jump in price after the halving. So after the first halving here, and again, everything will be linked in the description below. After the first halving, we have 9,218% increase in the price of Bitcoin. It went from $12 to over $1,000. And then after the second halving, where Bitcoin price was $657 at the second halving, back in July 9th of 2016, and the total market cap was only, well, I say only, but was only $12 billion. And we had the Bitcoin price, it went up some 3,000% to $19,800. Now we have, we always have a pullback, right? We always get a pullback. You know, we have a 84% drawdown. It went all the way down to 3K, and we're currently sitting right here right now. Okay, around the 10K mark. Well, as of this writing of this article, it was 777 or something. But we have this big accumulation stage where it corrects itself and then it bounces back up. So according to this guy in the article that he wrote, or gal, well, no, it's a guy. According to this guy in the article that he wrote, it's looking like Bitcoin is going to go up above $100,000 per coin. All right. And, this is not financial advice, but I wouldn't be worried so much about, China's pumping of more money into their markets, or the US doing the same thing with the race to the bottom. I would take, me personally, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking all available cash that I have and I'm putting it in Bitcoin. That's it. Okay. Yes, I, have a few other altcoins that I may like here or there, but a majority of my holdings is definitely in Bitcoin. All right. So here we go. Next, Bitcoin economy will hit $8 trillion. All right. That's 12 zeros, people. $8 trillion in the next decade, predicts wealth manager Andy Edstorm. Now, this is a good podcast. It was on the Citizen Bitcoin podcast. Give it a listen. It was a great episode. And this is a traditional financial manager, someone that's a wealth manager. He handles people's wealth. All right. He worked at the big banks before, and then started to work with his dad to handle, people's wealth. In a new interview on Citizen Bitcoin podcast, Andy Storm of California-based investment advisory firm Westcap Group says a long list of factors may boost Bitcoin over the next 10 years. These factors include a fear of missing out on the part of speculators, political events, and the devaluation of fiat currency, and catalysts from banks and central governments that create a tipping point, and a speculative attack on fiat. There you go. That devaluation right here. I should have highlighted this. All right, the devaluation of fiat currencies. Again, China pumping $174 billion tomorrow morning, their time, Shanghai time, and the continuous debt hole that we're digging ourselves into. Back to this article here. So he said, I think the total valuation on 10 years that I use is about $8 trillion, and that comes from various buckets, whether it's taking share from gold, or taking share from fiat, or taking share from offshore assets, or slightly demonetizing other stores of value like real estate, or new uses that we haven't thought of or are still under construction. Gold. If we just talk about gold, everybody keeps talking about Bitcoin being digital gold. Gold right now is about $7 to $8 trillion in value, market cap worldwide. If Bitcoin just take a percentage of that, we already know that it will pretty much absorb gold. Okay, and with my videos previously where I showed the world money supply, Bitcoin being at the bottom of that, we have a long way to go. And this next 10 years of Bitcoin, this new decade that we're in the 2020s, is definitely going to be the roaring 20s for Bitcoin, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course. All right, next question. Ed Storm says that the fact that Fidelity and Intercontinental Exchange, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, are offering Bitcoin exposure to their institutional clients has legitimized BTC or Bitcoin in a way that smaller cryptocurrency companies could never do. I could care less whether a company named Zappo or a company named Bitco has qualified custody. I start to care when Fidelity and New York Stock Exchange parent company are real. When I try to explain Bitcoin to family and friends, and I try to explain to them that the New York Stock Exchange is getting into the game, the Jamaican Stock Exchange is getting into the game, the Canadian Stock Exchange is getting into the game, the Japanese Stock Exchange over in England, I think it's called the FTSE. All these different major stock exchanges worldwide are getting into the Bitcoin game. They've been setting up the rails over the past couple of years, and they're just waiting for it to let loose. Okay, I don't even know how to explain it anymore. I try to explain to one of my Marine buddies, like, hey, get a little bit of Bitcoin. Just maybe 1%. Just buy $10, or just download the app and I'll send you $10 in Bitcoin, so you can see what it's like to hold it and experiment with it and things like that. And he just makes jokes and talk about how, oh, Bitcoin isn't real. You can't pay anything with it. He keeps hearing about Bitcoin is fake money. And no matter how many videos I make, and no matter how many videos I may send him, articles to read, he still doesn't get it. But like they say, you can lead a horse to water, right? But you have these big money companies getting involved with Bitcoin. How much more real do you need it to be? How much more real do you need it to be? Different stock exchanges from all over the world are getting involved in Bitcoin. That's all you need to know. And I like this last part right here. This makes a lot of sense right here. All right. When asked how he explains Bitcoin to his clients, Ed Storm says he walks them through his vision of what the future looks like if Bitcoin continues to outperform other asset classes and shatters its all-time high. And that's another thing. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset over the past 10 years, or it's 11 years now. But over the past decade, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset, up over 9 million %. And people still don't get it. They either say to me, oh, I don't have money to invest, but yet they're always buying new shoes. Oh, I don't have, I don't know about investing, or I don't know how to do it, even though I may, show them real quick using my phone, tell them to download the Cash App. I mean, how easy can it get? You could buy Bitcoin on the daggone Cash App. You don't even have to use Coinbase or Gemini or anything like that. Just buy it and hold it. But anyway, this is what he says, and I quote, one thing I sometimes like to do is invert it. I say, look forward into the future. It's 2022 or something, and Bitcoin has already plowed through 6 figures on price. And I'm imagining my conversation with my client, and my client is saying, this is now the client, okay, do we own any Bitcoin? No, we don't own any Bitcoin. Oh, so a few years ago, it was the best performing asset of the past decade, right? Yeah, that's true. And it was uncorrelated to other assets, right? It had less than 0.2 correlation to the US stock market and foreign developed foreign developed stock markets, emerging markets, bond, and as measured by Barclays Index Gold. Yeah, that's right. It was not correlated. And the total addressable market was in the tens of trillions of dollars, correct? Yeah, that's correct. And it was investable, right? There were instruments in the market that you could buy. You could buy this in my account, right? Yeah, that's true. So what am I paying you for? So basically, he's telling them he's going to expose them to Bitcoin, all right, even if it's 1% of their net worth, okay, or 1% of their investable amount of money that they have available, that he's managing for them, okay, because 1% being exposed to that 1% has more of an upside than it does a downside. And if he, as a financial manager, all right, a wealth manager, isn't exposing his clients to Bitcoin, they should fire him, because he doesn't want to have this conversation in the future, 2, 5, 6 years from now, and haven't had exposed them to at least a little bit of Bitcoin. So this is why he exposes his clients to Bitcoin. He's not telling them to go all in like a crazy, Bitcoin person or whatever the case is, right? He's just saying, hey, get a little bit and be exposed to it. Next, not this one. Here we go. Coming from Peter Brandt. So crypto legend Peter Brandt analyzes Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, says early signs suggest Bitcoin will rally much higher than 100K. So a closely watched veteran trader who became legendary in the crypto circles for calling Bitcoin big collapse in January 2018, is revealing his latest thoughts on Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin. So here it is. He's saying we can use this recent low that we've seen back in December that connects back to December 2018 as kind of now redefining the parabolic advance that could be in the process of developing now, and that has implications. You also want to get to the juicy stuff. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I can make an argument here that I'm not sure really can be made yet. That we're going a lot higher than 100K, and it won't be until 2020. And he's using different chart, not different charts, but he's using, the charts, and he's drawing it out. And I'm not a technical analyst, but this guy, like the article states, is definitely a legend in the crypto space. You got to follow him on Twitter. He called a top, and I think he even called a 3K bottom. He knows what he's talking about, right? And he's been trading since the 70s. So he has a ton of experience. But he's definitely calling for over 100K, just like we see right here in this right here for the halving. Okay, for after the halving, that Bitcoin is going to hit over 100K. Now, nothing is guaranteed, and then right now we have a lot of different financial instruments in play that we didn't have before in the previous two halvings. We have the CME, the CBOE backed, and they could try to short it and manipulate it to the downside. Okay, but the upside potential, in my opinion, is way higher than it is to try to short it. Okay, I don't think it. You could bet against Bitcoin, in my humble opinion, of course. All right, it's like the Tesla shorts. They've been losing over the past several years. All right, Tesla keeps shorting it, and Tesla keeps going higher and higher. It's the same thing with Bitcoin right now. They have the ability to short it now, but if they keep shorting it, I think they'll lose in the long run. But yeah, that's my video for today. Thanks for watching. As always, smash up the likes, hit that subscribe button, share. Let's discuss it in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think Bitcoin could reach over 100K, within the next few years? I definitely could see it by the end of 2021, Bitcoin being over 100K and maybe even pulling back, after it reaches its new all-time highs, by 2021. And that's not too far away. We're looking at maybe 22 months away or something like that, 23 months. All right. Blink of an eye. Stack your sats now, people. Not financial advice, but stack your sats. And I'm out. Peace.